Welcome to a video where I showcase 5 things that you may or may not know. Some of these facts may be in plain sight to some, but for others this may be the very first time that you hear about them. Let's get started. Starting off in Garden Warfare 1, did you know the ability icons in that game have a lot more detail in them in comparison to their Garden Warfare 2 counterparts, where they use a more simplistic and cel-shaded like style. However, if one was to take a look at the rainbow heal beam whilst in general play for Garden Warfare 2, one may notice that its ability icon looks a little out of place. This is actually because the icon that is used in general gameplay is its Garden Warfare 1 version. We can confirm this by heading into the character select booth and checking out the ability itself and noticing how it has an icon it is supposed to use, yet for some reason it uses the Garden Warfare 1 version instead. This is likely a part of the many oversights by the developers when creating the game, given that it has an icon it's supposed to use, but the game only refers to said icon when in the character selection booth. Secondly, did you also know the future parrot originally didn't have the appearance it used to have at all back when the game was launched? Before the ability was made available, the parrot was nothing more than just merely a texture swap of the standard parrot. A lot of the Ruck's abilities would also get this treatment in initially just being texture swaps of existing abilities. Here is a render of the parrot provided by Hey I'm Jay. According to Jay, these textures were made purely as temporary textures assigned to the base parrot model before the future parrot's official model and textures were eventually added to the game. This parrot model was originally believed to be for some sort of sponsorship with Fruit Loops, similar to the Cheetah sponsorship with their abilities, since the textures did make the parrot look similar to the mascot on the cereal box, though this was quickly debunked later on, with no evidence supposedly existing of this claim. Up next, did you know the 54th rank plate, whilst we know it today as some kind of blue and dark purple pattern, originally did not look like this at all. In fact, it looked completely different. According to some findings by the Frostbite modding server, this version of the icon was found within the files, being of a grayscale-like pattern, which is very much different from the one we have today. According to the server, they stated that this version was in the game up until December 2016, when it would be replaced by the version we all know today. What makes this rank plate more intriguing, however, is that this exact rank plate can be found within the files of BFN, likely suggesting that BFN started development around that time and built off that version of Garden Warfare 2, hence why it exists within its game files. Did you also know there's an interesting observation that can be made when picking up the Gnome bomb that was brought to my attention by Noobmaster Pro? Obviously, most people know that picking up the bomb heals you to full health as a way of incentivizing players to pick it up and deliver it. What you may not know, however, is that it doesn't technically do it like that. In most cases, when the player picks up the Gnome bomb, they will be healed for a flat value of 200 health. This value is fine in most cases, since roughly 97% of the character roster has either 200 or less health, and they will be healed to full like normal. However, there are unique cases where the amount that the Gnome bomb heals is different. First is our fiery lord and savior, who possesses 275 health by default. Under normal circumstances, he should be healed by 200 health when picking up the bomb, yet when he picks up a bomb at 15 health, he gets healed up to 255 health, a total of 240 instead. This increase does make sense, since his health pool is far higher than 200, though one would wonder why they didn't go for a higher value, since he still has some health that isn't accounted for. Armor Chomper also gets a similar treatment, though this can only be observed with both health upgrades. As you can see, when he collects the Gnome bomb, his health goes from 7 to 231, likely suggesting the Gnome bomb heals him for about 225 health upon collecting it. Now comes Am Citroen, whose natural health is 250, a sizable margin above 200. Yet when he collects the Gnome bomb, he is only healed by 200 like every other character for some reason, despite his health pool being marginally higher than that. What caused this oversight isn't exactly clear, but with how many mistakes PopCap make in their games, it's likely something they forgot to fix somewhere in development. Lastly, did you know Mech Cancelling through the usage of Burrow actually has changed from Garden Warfare 2 to BFN? In Garden Warfare 2, the technique is entirely in the Chomper's favor, since no matter when they start the swallow animation, as long as they do so before the beam of light appears, they will not only be able to instantly kill the imp, but also instantly kill his mech, placing it on a cooldown, and forcing them to wait once again. In BFN however, this technique is now flipped almost entirely in the imp's favor, with the Chomper only having a small window of opportunity to kill the imp before the mech appears, but even if he does manage to do so, the mech will still be available afterwards. More commonly, the imp will be able to escape the Chomper's jaws and climb into his mech as normal. On some occasions, the Chomper will be sent flying in a random direction, which can sometimes send them to their deaths. This interaction does actually provide imp quite some decent counterplay against the Chomper now, with the ability to avoid his instant kill moves as well as potentially send him to his death.